The preparation he put into this record was unbelievable, and it shows.
We kind of had a joke that since the first record did so well, we were going to do everything the same, including starting out, you know, in an RV, having Mike drive to all the shows. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Probably not. But at least for the first process, it's pretty similar because we're back at NRG, the studio that we recorded the first album at, and we're using Don Gilmore, who did Hybrid Theory.
NRG is a studio where a lot of really influential and like best-selling records have been made.
311, Peter Roach, Sugar Ray.
Sensible Palace.
Coming in here the first time, it's a little overwhelming because you see the level of expectations.
You think, well, all these good records have been done there. How am I going to make a record that's that good?
Jimi Hendrix did a record here 30 years after he died. That's how cool this place is.
We record all the songs as demos before we actually go into the studio. So we actually have basically finished versions of the songs before we even start recording. But once we get into the studio, we track individually. So Rob tracks first, then I did guitars next, followed by Phoenix, and then Joe scratched before Mike and Chester finished the process.
Once you're in the studio and everything is practiced and you know what you're going to play, it all comes down to giving a great performance. Every take you do in the studio needs to be 1,000% the way you would want it to be listened to over and over again on the album.
He's really fast, really tight. Last couple times we went into studios to record, he only took 3 days, 4 days. This time, I'm figuring probably about 4 or 5.
So we had an art day down in Los Angeles. We brought in Delta to do a lot of spray painting and that kind of stuff, and just kind of documented that to show in a separate way the album artwork kind of coming together and being created.
The art day is like an artistic depiction of the work in progress.
The 6 of us together can actually add on to what each other is doing and create something that alone we'd never be able to put together.
To me, that relates directly to what the album is all about. Throughout the day, we were painting on something and then painting over it and painting over it. You see this thing come together.
You feel the art happening.
You see a lot of words on the mural. It was almost like a documentation of what was going on with the songs that day in the life of the album. When we were touring last year, we saw Delta's stuff in magazines. We wanted the album to be epic, and these interesting cubist satellites that he was painting were exactly that.
It was James Minchin that actually took a picture at one point of Delta spray painting some stuff, which became the cover.
This is the like Christmas time after the fun art thing. Take all the paint home.
We're in the control room at NRG right now, and we're actually tracking right now. I do all my tracking inside the control room as opposed to out in the big drum room where Rob would track. And most of the time I spend tuning, but I have to tune before every pass. I probably tuned about probably 1,000 times. I think a guitar sound is a pretty specific, nuancy thing. I didn't want to do what we did last time. I wanted to take risks and do something that still sounded like Linkin Park, but that took the music in a new direction. I like music that's really cinematic, that has a really huge sonic landscape. I do a lot of layering of the guitar to create a really big sound. See where those rugs are rolled up? That's where the drums were. Now they're gone because they rattle. Got the cabinets out in the main room, and then you can see like amp heads and everything are in here. I can't give away all the secrets of how we achieve the sound. I want people to push me, and at the same time, I think what's great about the band is that people are open to having people push them.
Brad's contribution was really critical this time around. He really forced us to take a hard look at everything to make sure it was perfect.
When I'm in there tracking guitar, I like to be really focused and not have a lot of distractions going on around me. James came in and shot some photos one day in the control room, which was somewhat unusual because Don keeps a really focused work environment, doing those photos which were kind of press photos to let people know that we were in the studio. So it was funny that day to kind of see Don's expression or his dismay at the kind of almost circus-like atmosphere that was taking place.
You ready? We're ready. It's fired up. I've recorded with Mike, I've recorded with Brad, I've recorded with everybody in the band for years and years and years, even starting before Hybrid Theory. But sitting down with Don for the first time, there's always just that feeling of like questioning how great of a player you actually are.
He laces the track.
So you lace the track, Don, I lock the flow.
That's what it is, okay.
I think the fact that Don was a bass player just really helped me to realize that he was smarter than your average person. In general, you know, bass players are smarter.
There was so much brain power in here when these bass tracks were going down. It was just almost too much.
I don't gravitate towards flashy bass playing, but instead I want to find ways to be linking what Brad's doing with the melody and what Rob's doing with the rhythm, but also to be able to do that in a way that's creative. This is volume, so you just put that at 11, and you're ready to go. In here we have the sound room where we mic all of our amps. We got guitar cabinets all lined up. We stick them in here because they get pretty loud, and we don't want to listen to them at full volume, so we sit in there. I don't know if you can really see it because of the light. That's the control room. And then the stuff's being mic'd in here. You have the my amps, my cabinets. Yes, Brad has 3 cabinets, I have 2 cabinets. But if you do a speaker count, because mine has 8 per cabinet and Brad's only has 4, he's got 12, but I've got 16 speakers. 16's better than 12. Swim down there.
I'm braver than him. I take it like a man.
The photo days were difficult in the sense that they took away from the album for a day or two, but they're necessary evils. We want to put stuff out there and connect everything with the imagery that represents it.
I feel like I'm taping Amateur Jackass.